Hello and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome to the show. This week we have something special for you. I mean, like always, but it's an interesting little dive into something that's like K-pop adjacent.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not K-pop.
No.
It definitely still involves it, but there's been a bit of drama surrounding the show lately, so it seemed like the right moment to talk about it.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about the music show You Huiyeol's Sketchbook.
Yes, and this is a variety show that has come up a few different times we've talked about it before. We always stumble over the pronunciation. And I have seen his name romanized in many different ways. But I read that he specifically romanizes his last name Y-O-U. Like that's how he spelled it in his own albums. But I've also seen it Y-O-O-Y-U. It's all kinds of different things.
Yes.
But yeah, this is a KBS show that has been on for quite a while. And I think although it's not exclusively a K-pop music show, it has become a real marker of success in the Korean music industry, and that includes K-pop artists. And a lot of K-pop artists go on this show. They have been going on it since its inception, so it's totally appropriate to talk about it now.
Absolutely.
That it is coming to a close.
Yes, the show was sort of abruptly ended a few weeks ago after a controversy, which we will get into later in the episode.
Yes.
But yeah, it seemed like a good time since it's unfortunately wrapping up. It's very sad.
But it had 600 episodes.
Yeah.
And so it has definitely been a staple of the industry for quite a while. And if getting into K-pop, you can see a lot of your favorite groups go on this show. It's not exclusively for, well-established artists. Newer artists have gotten to go on it as well, or get a chance to go on it as well. So, we're just going to tell you everything you need to know about You Huiyeol's Sketchbook.
Yeah, so let's start with who is You Huiyeol and why did they give him a TV show in the first place?
Yes, so You Huiyeol was born April 19th, 1971, which makes him currently, as of this recording, 51 years old. He was born in Seoul. And he is a man of many hats. He is a singer-songwriter. He's a radio DJ. He's the host of Sketchbook. He's the founder of his own record label, which is called Antenna Music. And he is a one-man band known as Toy, T-O-Y. He graduated Seoul National University College of Music with a major in composition, so he's a well-established and highly educated songwriter. In 1992, he broke into the music scene after he won the grand prize at the 4th Yujeha Music Contest with a song called The Moonlight Song. And then in 1994, he started his band Toy, which was originally a duo with him and his friend Yoon Jong-ho. That's where they got their name, 2Y.
Oh, cute.
Mm-hmm. And they released their first album in 1994, which was called Inside My Heart. But shortly after their debut, Yoon Jong-ho left the band to study abroad, and You Huiyeol enlisted. So they took a little bit of a break, and then after he got out of the military, he continued the group as a one-man project band with his second album, which was called Fairy Tales for Adults. The lead single was called Remember I Was Next to You, and it was sung by Kim Yeon-woo, who is a ballad singer, and it was really, really popular. And since then, Yoo Huiyeol usually enlists guest vocalists on his album, and he rarely sings on his own albums. So I think that habit lends itself really well to what the show became, because that means that he is by nature a collaborator with a lot of different musicians, and so it kind of fits that he got to eventually host this show that
focuses on
a lot
singers
of
and it's a singers show, and he understands singers and wants to showcase singers, which I think is
absolutely
really cool.
And he challenges them to do different arrangements and fun stuff. We'll talk about the details of the show in a second. continuing in his career. 1997, he founded his music company, Antenna Music, which was known as Toy Music until 2007. They represent a lot of different genres, mostly soloists, but they also signed Yoo Jae-suk in 2021.
Okay.
And it also became a Kakao subsidiary in 2021.
Kakao just be buying up all the companies. And so many companies are Kakao
I know,
subsidiaries.
it's crazy. In 1999, he started DJing his own radio show on NBC, and he has since hosted multiple different shows. And in 2009 is when he started hosting Sketchbook. He has made a few different TV appearances. He was a judge on K-Pop Star 3 from 2013 to 2014. He is a guest star in Psy's music video for Daddy. And he hosted the 2U Project Sugarman with Yoo Jae-suk from 2015 to 2020. And this is another music show program that specifically focused on one-hit wonders. It's based off of a documentary called, I think, Finding Sugar Man, or Searching for something like that. And so that's what it's based off of. And they would go back and find artists that maybe had a really big song and then haven't been heard from in a while, and they brought them back onto the show. Or they
also
had
with
artists
idols and stuff. Because I think it's come up on the show a few times, because like Chen and Chanyeol did one that was good. And like
so the idols would come on and they would like cover a old song. But overall, he has 422 composer credits on Melon.
Yeah, I went and looked, and a lot of those are like repeats because a lot of his songs have been recorded many times over by different artists. So like, I don't think they're 422 individual songs. It would take forever to calculate individual songs. But the point is, very highly prolific. He makes a lot of music is the point.
Yes.
And I found a few like K-pop adjacent like releases that you might have heard of before. Psy's song Passionate Goodbye featuring Shin Se-kyung was originally released by Toy in 2007, and then Psy put it out on like I think his 5th album. 17 recorded Is It Still Beautiful for The Wise Doctor's Life OST, and this was originally Kim Yeon-woo's song from 1999. On Joy's solo debut, that was all covers. She did a song called Every Time (Be There For You), which was a Toy song from 1996. And both Super Junior and Haechan from NCT have recorded versions of a song called Good Person. Super Junior's was on an actual album, and then Haechan's was for a 2022 drama called Friends. So those were just a couple like K-poppy names I saw in his like Melon list.
Nice.
But a lot of singers, a lot of songs.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's since become a very well-respected name in the industry. But so the show itself premiered April 24th, 2009, and it is a talk show and live music program. So KBS describes it as acclaimed musician You Huiyeol of the project group Toy is a familiar name to music lovers. This is where you can enjoy the energetic performances of talented musicians and their sweet, friendly conversations. It's a relaxing and pleasant gift for you after a long, hard day. Enjoy a night of delightful music and conversation at You Huiyeol's Sketchbook.
Lovely.
So nice. So this show aired on KBS 2 every Friday at 11:20 p.m. And throughout the years, it kind of changed its airing slot. Like sometimes it played on Saturday, sometimes it played at midnight or 11, whatever.
But it's a late night
weekend talk show. It usually runs about 90 minutes, and each episode has 3 to 4 musicians on as a guest. They come out, they talk to You Huiyeol, and then they perform for about 10 to 15 minutes for each group. So the whole hour and a half is cut up and shared between different artists. Audience members have sketchbooks.
Yes. That's like one of the funnest things about it. And I assume, I don't know if the name of the show came first or if the sketchbooks were always part of it, but it's a fun thing about watching the show is that all of the audiences have just like a big old blank sketchbook of like a bound sketchbook and like a Sharpie probably. And throughout the show, they like write cheering messages like or little jokes or puns or stuff like on the sketchbooks and hold them up. So like every time they cut to the audience, they also have a little like sign, and that's part of the show as well, which is really cute.
According to KBS, over its 13 years on the air, Sketchbook has had 494,650 audience members, and the show has become known as a rite of passage for musicians.
Yeah, there's a lot of one of his like famous questions that he asks almost every artist that came on the show is, "What is your dream?" And so many of them answered being on this show. Like it's a marker as a singer to like get to appear on this show. And I think it's because, I mean, like because it's a show for singers, I feel like they respect singers and the art of a performance, and whoever does the sound mixing on this show deserves whatever the Korean equivalent of an Emmy is, because like the vocal performances in this show are like so perfectly engineered. Like it's just like crisp and the reverb is like just right, and they do occasionally give a little little pitch corrector, just a little bit, not a lot, because most of the people on it are pretty perfect, but it just like makes for these clear, beautiful, just wonderful performances. The sound on them is like so good. So I totally get why people would love coming to sing on this show, because they make you look amazing.
Absolutely.
And the other thing about the show that I think is really cool is that it seems like You Huiyeol, for whatever reason, like his personality just really gets people to open up about their personal lives. Like I went scanning the Soompi archives for like, you know, articles about the show, and 80% of them were like people spilling dating tea or like talking about why their group broke up, or like he's very good at like getting good stuff out of people.
Absolutely. I think it's partially because, I mean, for one, like he's just a like sweet, sort of endearing man. Like he seems kind of unassuming. And the other is that like he is a musician himself. So it's kind of, I think he brings like a real casual air to the conversations, because it doesn't really feel like a interview, like I'm the MC and I have, or like a journalist like preparing these questions. It's like you're here to showcase, and I don't know, something about it always felt very laid back.
Yeah, like a friendly conversation of like, you know what you're doing, you're a good singer, and I invited you here to do your thing, and we're just gonna chat, and like this is low pressure and everyone's here to support you. Like I don't know, the vibe is very good on this show.
Yeah, and even though there are like the audience is pretty big and the stage is like a decent size, it feels like a small sort of cafe open mic or something. It just has a very cozy feeling to it. So I think a lot of idols and musicians in general will just like let down their guard and have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So throughout the years, it's been on, like I said, since 2009, and there have been many, many notable performances. I know that even in my like baby K-pop dumb, I feel like I would always find these clips of, you know, your favorites that have gone on this, because like I said, a lot of times they do a cover or a different arrangement of the song. They don't just do, and they don't usually do choreo. Like sometimes,
It's really just
but
depends.
it sort of depends.
Sometimes it's a sit on a stool show, and sometimes it's like a put on a whole spectacular show. It really just depends.
Yeah, it depends on the artist and I guess what they want to do. But it looks like maybe Kara was the first K-pop group to go on as guests, and that was in the 5th episode on May 22nd, 2009. SG Wannabe was on the 4th episode, but I feel like Kara is a more official...
SG Wannabe is such a... I feel like that's a vocal group.
That's okay,
like
that's why I was like, I don't... Unless we want to count
That's like a ballady vocal group. Like I know they're like first
count.
Jenny, but like they're not quite K-pop. I think Kara is.
I count Kara as the first. I count Kara as the first.
I went looking to see for like some of the most popular like YouTube clips, and the absolute most popular one by a freaking ton is when Troublemaker went on the show, and that video has 44 million views.
Yeah.
Which is the most by a quadruple amount.
And they performed Troublemaker. It was their after their debut.
Full thing, full choreo, Hyuna in a tiny white bandage dress. and they keep cutting to men in
Oh,
the
you're right.
audience who are like,
That's full choreo. Oh yeah, one of the I laughed so hard. One of the guy like something happens and then one of the guys just like turns to his friend and it's like, oh my god, I'm melting in my seat right now.
I can't even believe this.
Oh, it's so funny.
And then the next most popular YouTube performance at 15.8 million views is Big Bang's entire set from episode 346, which aired in December of 2016. And they performed Bebe, Bang Bang Bang, Fantastic Baby, and Lie. And they like go into the audience and like, you know, make a whole Big Bang thing of it.
They jump around.
And then right behind that, at like 15.5 million views, is an acoustic version of Come Back Home by 21.
Come back home. Can you come back home? 차가운 세상 끝에 날 버리지 말고 내 곁으로. Come back home. Can you come back home? 모든 아픔은 뒤로 해.
So like that's an example of like a stripped down, like a slightly different version of the song than usual. And this one was from May of 2014 and they broke up a few months after this. So like I don't think it's the last 21 performance, but it's one of them. And so I think it's like special to people for that reason. Also a very popular clip, Tae So sang Destiny's Child Cater to You on episode 244 in October of 2014. And the harmonies on this performance are just like, ooh, they're so good. They're so good.
Yeah.
And that one has 12 million views. So that's a popular clip as well. Some like all-stars of this show. IU has appeared on Sketchbook 20 times. And her little comeback special that she did in 2020 apparently tripled the show's ratings from like the entire year of 2020. Wow. Like IU kind of, the PD said she like saved the show. And Mamamoo has appeared as a group 13 different times. And Hwasa has appeared 6 times by herself. So she's been on the show 19 times.
That's wild.
And a fun, I mean, all of their performances are great, but a fun one to like recommend and shout out, episode 544 from June of 2021. They did a little like medley / mashup, because it's definitely like the songs are mashed, of a couple of songs from the 2000s. They do Super Junior Sorry Sorry, Wonder Girls Tell Me, Cara Roly Poly, and Brown Eyed Girls Abracadabra, like all mashed into this cool song, and they do a little choreo, and like it's a very neat little performance.
It is very good.
Hyolyn has appeared as a solo singer on the show 8 times. And there's a performance of Hurt by Christina Aguilera with her and Soyu that has 8 million views, and it sounds amazing. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. And a very famous moment, going back in time a little bit to episode 190 in 2013, Lee Hyori, during her set, the first song, she sang Miss Korea in like a full-length silver sequin gown. And then in between songs, she said, I don't want the audience to have to wait for me to change clothes. And she handed a pair of scissors to You Huiyeol. And he got on the ground, got on his knees, and cut her dress off. And he was like...
He cut the hem of it short.
Yes, like cut it to make it like a teeny little cocktail dress. And he's like, how much do I cut? And she's like, as much as you want. And he was like, I'm afraid I'm going to look like a pervert. And she's like, everyone already thinks you are. And the audience is laughing. And everyone had such a great time. And then this made like so many headlines because everyone was just like, Hyori is the coolest person in the entire world. Like, because she's just like, I don't know, she's so cool and nonchalant and whatever. And she was just like, yeah, cut my dress on this stage. Like, I'm so hot and cool and awesome. And she is hot and cool and awesome. And also, Baby Shonu is in this performance.
Baby Shonu! He squealed his little mesh shirt and his eyeliner.
He looks so little. It's so cute.
Young.
It's so cute.
My Bobby.
Another epic moment on episode 388 in March 2018. Chanyeol suddenly appeared during Punch's performance segment and they sang Stay With Me. And the audience like went absolutely bananas because it was the song of the moment.
Ugh, that song was everywhere.
So it was like a
everywhere.
big deal. That, like,
And it was Chanyeol.
So very exciting things.
Anytime an a wild EXO appears,
Yeah.
the crowd goes wild.
Another great performance that I found that I think speaks to what you were saying earlier about like not everybody who goes on this show has to be the most famous or most popular person. There was absolutely an effort to like introduce the public to like singers they might not know about, which is a cool thing about the show. And that extremely short-lived duo, Khan, that we were like so obsessed with, the one
so
song
much.
they put out. They went on the show in May 2018 and they sang Despacito and it's so good.
It really is.
Pasito, pasito, suave, suavecito, nos vamos pegando poquito, poquito. Para provocar los gritos y que vives todo herido. Despacito. Pasito, pasito, suave, suavecito, nos vamos pegando poquito, poquito. Le enseñes a mi boca.
And they're wearing these like beautiful like orchid colored suits and they look very cool and
yeah.
like they practiced that Spanish, man.
Yes, they did. They did all of like the whole rap. They got all of it. And Khan, where are you?
Yeah. What happened to you? So sad. On a personal note, Monsta X's performance of Versace on the Floor from episode 418 in 2018 is like very important to us personally and on our journey as Mon Bebe. Like that video is like what absolutely pushed me over the cliff like, oh, I like Monsta X now. Like,
Absolutely.
oh, holy shit.
Well,
Like,
as soon as you showed me that, and I was like, wait, they can all sing like this? Why don't they do that all the time?
And then they started
like,
doing it all
now
the
they
time.
do it all the time. Oh, Versace on the floor.
It's so great. If you've never seen that, you gotta.
You gotta. You gotta.
Another like pretty famous but ultimately really heartbreaking and hard to watch performance is Taeyeon and Jonghyun did Lonely in May 2017. It's very good, but it's very sad. A more recent one that I found and absolutely died over. Stacey on episode 557 from earlier in the year covered BTS's Microcosmos. I'm like, God, I love their voices so much.
I got you. 같은 맘들 속에 Shine dream light, a little light of dawn, like a big 자체로
Beautiful. They're so
Gorgeous.
great. I love it. That gives me goosebumps. Like, oh, their voices are so pretty and good. Also, Key performed Lizzo's Juice on an episode in October of 21, and it added years to my life.
Oh my God. My favorite thing about it, aside from his bananas outfit and his little like Astro Boy flippy hair, is the like 50-something-year-old classically trained women who are his backup singers, and like they just sing the little whenever they do the little like oohs in the background, just like their tone of voice is just so proper and so like oh or whatever it is, and I'm just like, oh, it makes me laugh so hard. I love it.
And
He loves it.
I love it. And him being like, somebody come get this man.
I think he got lost in my DMs.
Like, it's
And
so
then he
great.
turns to the women and he goes, what?
And he censored
It's
it
great.
perfectly because he's not an idiot and he didn't
Yeah,
say
yeah.
anything bad and he changed words and like
And it
we
all
love
worked
our
out.
Key.
It all worked. It was good.
It was very good.
Oh, so excited for him.
And then the last little notable thing I had, and again, there are hundreds and hundreds of amazing performances from the show, but
Yeah.
just last thing on my little list is during a 2020 episode where the show was like in studio, no audience, it like got kind of smaller, but they didn't stop doing it. ITZY was on and Leah sang Jessie J's Price Tag by herself. And then the fandom had like a little meltdown over it because it's very good. Like she sounds great, but I guess apparently in the fandom or in the world, Leah gets shit for like not being a good singer. And so this clip was like her being a good singer. So then people were mad, like, JYP, why don't you let her sing in this range? Like, you don't write music for her voice. And like it created a little bit of a stink, but also was like, wow, look at Leah's good. And it was just a little drama I found that was kind of recent. K-pop drama from this show. But again, all the performances are like so great. There's so many idols have been on it. Also just tons of like really great singers. Like look up every single time Akmu was ever on the show.
Oh,
just
yes.
flawless, amazing work. Like, oh, Crush, Zion T. Like, if there's like somebody whose voice, Woods, if there's somebody whose voice you like, they probably were on the show at least once. And like, great stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. I always remember when Baekhyun debuted as a solo artist with UN Village, he went on there and he did a little set. And that was like the first time I'd ever seen him. Or it was probably one of the first times he ever performed on his own. And it was very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, such a... No shortage of gems.
No.
And obviously, like we said, they're not all idol guests. Like he has a lot of ballad singers and rock singers and other genres and stuff. So he'll have like bands and things on his show too.
But everyone's good, so it like always makes for such a good. It just makes for good viewing.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, what has brought this whole show to an end at its 600th episode was a recent controversy that You Huiyeol himself found himself at the center of. So he is a musician. He's constantly making and releasing music, and he has an ongoing project that is called You Huiyeol's Life Music Project. And I think as a part of this project, he like releases different albums every year, but it's all like a part of this same series.
It seems like it's a constant thing. I don't know like what the actual like timeline of it is, but I think it's like a song a week type of thing where he tries to just constantly like put out a new thing to like keep making music.
He releases, it's like a challenge. It's like a personal challenge or project that he does release it. But then I know that there are albums of it
of
as
the whole
well.
compilation. Sure.
Yes, exactly. Or like organized into maybe like everything from this
These
year.
were the best ones
whatever
from springtime.
Yeah, exactly. Earlier this summer, he released the piano accompaniment for a song called A Most Private Evening. Shortly after this was released, he received criticism for sounding too much like a song called Aqua by a Japanese artist named Ryuichi Sakamoto. Both very lovely.
Yeah.
But as he was accused of plagiarism, You Huiyeol admitted that the songs sounded very similar, but claimed that the similarities were unintentional. He stated, Ryuichi Sakamoto is an artist that I have respected for the longest time, an artist who's influenced my music the most of any artists out there. It seems that I unconsciously composed similar chords to the chords that lingered in my head, and what I believed to be a pure product of my own creation turned out to be a piece similar to an already existing one. This I cannot deny. Because of this controversy or because of these accusations, he postponed the release of the album in order to connect with the original artist and their label in order to properly credit him and to deal with the composition rights and get everything above board. Because he's basically saying like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, but you're right, it does sound the same, so I'm going to give him credit and make sure that he gets paid out for it as well. But Sakamoto himself, the artist, the original artist, said that he really didn't care, and that there was absolutely no need for legal to get involved. He said, quote, "The music has similarities, but I don't think it is on the level of requiring any legal actions to protect my piece Aqua. I can see his great respect for my composition. Every creation is influenced by existing arts, the public domain. It would be great and appreciated if you could put 5 to 10% of your originality into it. I'm still trying my best to raise my originality percentage on every music I create, which is challenging, but that makes the art beautiful, I think.
I think that's like such a good quote. And like the Asian Junkie article also like really focused in on this quote of just like this plagiarism shit has gotten like really out of control. And I think like Marvin Gaye's family like kind of broke music forever, like by suing over blurred lines and winning. That like, I don't know, that now music can just like feel the same and you can like sue someone over it. And yeah, like there's really truly, when you break it down to its littlest pieces, there's like only 16 notes in the world. Like,
Yeah.
you make millions and millions of songs, like they're gonna have similarities. Or if you think of any song ever and take the melody line, like I bet you there's another song in existence that also uses those notes in that order. And like, I don't know,
yeah.
it just happens. It happens when you make music. And like, he tried to do the right thing and credit him on it, which is the thing. Like earlier this year, Soyeon from Idol got in big trouble for like plagiarizing an AT song, and she had to credit that artist and pay them for it.
Yeah.
And then got to have the biggest song of the year. Like, she's fine. You move
Yeah.
on. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the reaction to these plagiarism accusations really baffles me, because on the one hand, I can understand why they would point it out in the first place, because they do sound similar. Like, they do. They're both nice, quiet piano pieces,
songs
like,
with nothing else
lovely.
going on. So like,
the similarities are super easy to see. But I think the fact that You Huiyeol immediately, his reaction was, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but I'll take care of it," right? That shows me, at least, like from an audience perspective, that makes me think like, oh, okay, it really was an accident, and like he's doing what any respectable musician would do, like having this pointed out. But then Sakamoto's reaction being like, dude, don't worry about it. Like, all music is bound to be influenced by other people. Like, you already admitted that you're a fan of mine. Like, we're all trying to be original here. I don't need your money or credit on this song. That should have been enough.
the end, yeah.
Like, that, the fact that it wasn't doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree.
But the fans were not appeased by this, and they actually continued to accuse You Huiyeol of plagiarizing another of Sakamoto's songs, which was called 1900. But Antenna Music, You Huiyeol's record label, says that he had never even heard of that one. And Sakamoto says, please stop this. Like, I'm not worried about it. You're not my fan. Like, I don't need my fans to do this, and I'm begging you to leave this man alone.
I didn't check on this, but I feel like I heard somewhere that like Sakamoto is also going through like health problems. Like, he might have cancer or something right now. And like, he literally doesn't give a fuck about this.
He's like, please leave me alone. He has bigger problems.
Yeah.
But the plagiarism accusations continued, and shortly after accusing You Huiyeol of plagiarizing Sakamoto, fans started to point out that another Japanese artist, Koji Tamaki, was plagiarized by You Huiyeol because of a song with the same title, which was called Happy Birthday to You. You Huiyeol wrote, composed, and produced this track, as well as registered it under his name with the Korea Music Copyright Association. And both he and his agency have not addressed these specific accusations. So I don't know if it's because of the like fallout of the Sakamoto accusations to begin with, but they haven't touched this one at all.
Yeah, I noticed today when I was looking for the original two pieces that were the original problem, there were a bunch of YouTube videos like made by Korean users, like fully Korean, that were like accusing this dude of ripping off like 15 songs.
Yeah.
And when I was going through them, like most of them were stretches. Like, I don't know, music sounds like music. And it seems like they were just witch hunting this dude at a point.
Yeah, it just seemed odd. Like, I don't know. It just seemed so targeted, and like
And I don't know what he did. He didn't seem to have any other like problems. Like, he was a nice celebrity that people liked, and it didn't seem like this was, like, sometimes it's like, oh, this person got in a drunk driving accident, and now we're gonna find every bad thing they've ever done to cancel them. Like,
or like this one song sounded similar, and then fans dove in and found 20 songs throughout his career that always sounded this way or whatever. But that he was a dirtbag in his personal life or something, and that just doesn't seem to be the case in this situation. It's just such a weird turn of like public opinion that doesn't seem to have any logic behind it. But the accusations came out at the beginning of the summer, and on July 18th, 2022, Star Today reported that Sketchbook would film its final episode the very next day. And according to KBS, it was You Huiyeol's personal decision to step down from the show and take a break. He published a statement, and it's very long, but part of it says, "After seeing the numerous cases pouring in, I looked back on myself for the first time. I think what was the most heartbreaking to hear was that the time that has passed felt like it was being denied. It is to the extent that I cannot dare to imagine how great the sense of loss is. There is a part of the current plagiarism allegations that I have difficulty agreeing with. Many of the allegations may be individual views and interpretations, but they are difficult for me to accept. I will look after myself more strictly so that a controversy such as this does not arise again." So I thought his statement was really well written in the sense that he did acknowledge at the beginning, like, yes, there were some songs that were similar and I acknowledged those, but I also don't agree with everything people are saying. And I'm very hurt by it. I like really appreciated the honesty in him saying, like, I'm taking time to now look back over my over 20 years in the industry, and because he made his first like break into it in like 92, so it's been like 30 years, and this is the first time he's ever really come under fire from the public
for anything
at all, at least as far as I could tell or as far as I could find. And so he was very honest about the fact that he was hurt and needed to take a break, I think, just to take care of himself. But I also appreciated that he didn't, like kowtow and say like, yes, I have done wrong and will think about my actions or whatever. He was like, I don't agree with all of this,
but I'll go away if
but
y'all
I'm
want
gonna
me
take
to,
a break.
I guess.
Yeah. Or even just like, I don't agree with this, but I don't want to deal with y'all anymore, so
Right.
I'm leaving. Like, and I'm taking my show with me. But yeah, so I it's hard to say like whose final decision it was to end the show altogether. I do appreciate it. I think a lot of people do that. KBS decided not to continue it without him and just like replace the MC, because it is You Huiyeol's sketchbook. So we couldn't have. I like that they left it as his. And didn't like pass it off to somebody else.
But he did. We'll get into the final episode in a second. But like, skipping ahead to the end of the very last episode when he addressed the audience for a final time, like he said like very clearly like, to the like almost begging the audience to not let KBS give up on the show, like even if he's not on it, like he thinks that the show is too important and that the show can't end, and that if he can't be the host then fine, but like he doesn't want Sketchbook to die because it means too much to people. It's really sad.
It is really sad. Well, then I wonder if KBS will try, or if maybe they're holding out hope that he will want to come back.
Yeah.
Since he's the one who's choosing to step down, maybe they're like just keeping their fingers crossed that he'll just want to do a hiatus.
Yeah.
And then come back like next year
When
or
people
something.
are
When people are being more chill. But it did come to an end. The 600th episode aired. It was filmed on July 19th and it aired July 22nd, 2022. The episode theme was Our Summer Days. And they had maybe more guests than they usually do because it
was the same amount of like segments, I think, but like, yeah, maybe a few more guests.
Yeah, because it's usually just 3 or 4, and they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different performers. So we had Paul Kim and Mellowmance went on the show. They covered IU's Through the Night, which was sung on their first Sketchbook appearance in 2017. And they also did Yuen's Wave for the theme.
It was so fun and so good. I feel like Mellowmance is so goddamn popular right now. And the only reason I think that is because they've been on like the soundtracks of like the last 3 dramas that I've watched. And I also sometimes, if I'm just going on a very short drive and I don't plug my phone in, I listen to AM Korean radio just because it's a real good exercise for my brain because I can't see anyone at all and I have literally no context and I just have to listen. But anyway, they play a lot of Mellowmance on like AM Korean radio, like a lot. But they're 2 guys. One usually plays the piano and the other one like just sings. For the UN Wave stage, which I love that song. Yeah. It's such a good song.
I always remember that song. And like when I watched this performance too, I was like, yeah, this song.
And the Mellowmance who plays piano played a melodica, which is like the little piano that you blow into during it. Like it was just so fun. And they also started laughing at each other during the IU song. Like they're singing the sad song and then they like, I don't know, they like got the giggles and it was a good stage. I enjoyed it very much.
The next performers on the finale was 10 centimeters and Hazy. And they covered Cool's Aloha.
Yeah, and they sounded really great, but they were both dressed so stupid.
Oh
I hated both of their outfits so much. Yeah. He was wearing like fashion sweatpants with tucked into boots and like a blue sweater with like a loose tie over the top, and
the tie looked like it was like sewn on to the neck of the sweater, and then he had like a rose behind his ear and really big glasses. He looked bananas, and then she looked like Ariel who came out of the ocean.
There was just like some shit tied around
herself. I'm glad we both had that. They sound great. But,
they sounded good,
but
they looked
bananas.
crazy.
Then we had Daybreak come on, and they performed Good and Hot Fresh.
And Daybreak is a band that debuted in 2007, and they sang this when they started playing Hot Fresh. I like paused it and like went to go look up Daybreak, and like all of the songs that they make are this like perfect, fun rock. Like I don't know what it is, but like it's perfect. The vibe of all of their music is like so good.
Great.
And they had the crowd in the palm of their hands while they played their cute little rock songs, and I thought they were so fun. I enjoyed the Daybreak performance very much. And then after that point, they had Mellowmance and Paul Kim and 10 centimeter and Heiji and Daybreak all like sit on the stage, and they talked about everyone's like first appearance on the show and showed little clips. And I thought it was funny because when they showed the clips of like 10 centimeter being on the show a bunch of times, they were making fun of how stupidly he was dressed, and I was like, he's still dressed stupid right now. So that might be part of his thing, but like he was dressed very stupid in every single performance. And like Heiji said that like being on the show was her dream and she was so grateful to have done it. And like they just had a nice little chat. And that was the end of the first segment.
Yes. And then the next segment started with Oh My Girls, Hyojung and Songhee. So not the whole band, but just the 2 girls. They covered Jung-hwa's Festival, and then later joined as rappers for Kim Jong-kook's dance medley performance. So Kim Jong-kook came on after the girls, and he did a medley of turbo hits that included Lovable, Goodbye Yesterday, and Twist King. And then, like I said, the girls joined him for the end.
For the Twist King part. And like the Oh My Girl stage was very good, but it definitely felt more like a music show because they had the LEDs going with like the bright summer stuff, and they had a bunch of backup dancers, and like it felt very much more like a music show stage than a typical like sketchbook stage. And then Kim Jong-kook like came out and did his song and got real tired trying to like keep up with the dancers and stuff. And then they sat down, the 3 of them, to do their interview segment, and they revealed during that interview segment that Kim Jong-kook debuted the year that Songhee was born. So they got, and then Oh My Girl gets the audience to like dance to Dolphin, and they like all do the dance and they all know the song. And Jungkook is like feeling very old because he was like, I wasn't sure the audience would know my songs, and like they definitely know their songs. And like it was a cutesy little interview segment.
It was adorable. Then we had the main event of the show. And I feel very confident in saying this was the main event of the segment because this is what the headlines were all about when we got the announcement that the last episode was coming on. Sistar was reunited for the first time in 5 years. They performed, I would say it's a medley because they didn't do like the full songs of all of them, but they perform a significant chunk of each one. They started with Alone, and then they did Loving You, Shake It, Touch My Body, and I Swear.
I Swear was after, and they did all of I Swear.
Yes. Yeah. That was a separate. So they started with Alone, Loving You, Shake It, and Touch My Body, and then they break to talk, and then they come back. And the girls had previously said if we were to reunite as a full group, we obviously thought it had to be on Sketchbook. So this show was a staple.
It was very important to people. And like Sistar was wearing like all white outfits. They look so pretty. Like Bora has bangs for the first time ever and looks like a completely different person with bangs. I was like shocked by it. Dasom looks exactly the same. Hyolyn looks different. Soyu looks different, but like they still look like Sistar. And like it was the transitions between songs were like absolutely flawless.
They were so
They would like
perfect.
do the perfect choreo turn to like be in the spot.
Oh
to,
my
like,
God,
do
yes.
the butts or what. It was so good.
My favorite was the switch from Shake It to Touch My Body because like the ending of Shake It is so iconic, and then they literally just like flipped and they were boom ready, and it was so good. But when they started in the silhouette,
they started with Alone on the red lights, and like it was so cool.
So good.
And then when they sat down to talk to You Huiyeol, they talked about, you know, how the show was very important to them. It's the one they wanted to reunite on. And we learned that Bora had not danced in 5 years. Like, she has not done anything since they quit. But she was the only one who remembered all the choreo because she was the main dancer and it was still locked
in her brain.
in there. And they also showed a very funny clip of an appearance that they showed their first appearance and like they all look so freaking young. It's like very adorable. And then they also showed a clip of a Christmas special where it was when Touch My Body, I think it was Touch My Body, was very popular. Sistar came out in full gorilla costumes and they have like monkey makeup on and like full gorilla costumes. And then they like very seriously like do Touch My Body, like dressed like monkeys. And it's so funny. And they also talked about how Sistar's debut song, Give It To Me, starts with the lyric, "Will I be married before I'm 30?" And that when they recorded the song, they thought that sounded like 1,000 years away, but their maknae is 30 now. So like full circle moment. And it was a sweet little interview. And then they did I Swear, and I cried a little bit. And Dasom was trying not to cry the entire time. Like the whole time she was trying not to cry. But it was really good, and it was sweet to see Sistar, and like they sounded and they looked amazing, and like it was crazy.
It was fantastic. It was so good. It was so good. And then last but not least, solo artist Gummy came out for the grand finale, and she sang Remember Me, which is from the OST for Hotel de Luna. And she said, quote, "There are so many people who have been with Sketchbook for the past 13 years and 3 months. I hope you remember those people. And just like the song I will sing today, I hope this performance is remembered in all of your hearts for a long, long time."
She cried when she was saying that. She was crying when she was saying that. Like, she seemed to be the only... It was, like, a very lighthearted, like, final episode for the most part. And there was a part of me that was thinking, like, did they... Like, they knew it was going to be the last one, but it didn't seem like they had prepared for it to be the last one.
Yes.
Like, I was waiting for, like, the grand clip package of the greatest moments ever, but like they only focused on the moments of the people who were there, like a regular 100 special episode and not a final episode.
Totally.
But when Gummy came out, they like Yoo Huiyeol is like, she was literally performing across town. She like rushed here to like end the show, and she's like very emotional and very upset about the show ending, and like doesn't want it to. Like, the show is special to singers and people like going on it, and like her emotion, like, ooh, it like really hits at the end of the whole thing. Like, you really see that like a loss. This is a loss that this show is ending. It's a loss.
Yeah, it is.
So she did the beautiful song, and it sounded so great. And then, Yoo Huiyeol gives a final speech, and he says, like, there are no music shows like this show. This is the only one. And, like, I hope that I've encouraged people to dream, and that I've showed you people, like, whatever. And then, like I said, he begged the audience to be like, don't let them end the show. It's too important. And it was a bummer. And then they ended with they played "Thank You for the Music" from the Mamma Mia soundtrack, the Amanda Seyfried version that is rough. And then like played some slow-mo clips of like people singing and stuff while the credits rolled. And it was a good watch, but I came away from it just so upset because it feels so needless. This feels like the kind of show that should have been on for 30 years.
Totally.
Like, Yoo Huiyeol should have been an 80-year-old man, like, hosting this show still. Like, it's just a loss. It's just a loss.
Yeah, and it just feels so needless. Like, I just don't understand. Like, and it also feels, I don't know. It just is so strange because even if he did plagiarize all those songs, like, is that reason for him to get kicked off or to lose the show or to end the show? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I guess like if this was supposed to be a respected musician and he had turned out to plagiarize however many songs they accused him of. But I don't know. It just leaves me with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It just seemed so random and so unnecessary. And it's really just a huge bummer to see it go. But you know, you can watch all of it on Viki if you have a premium
Viki has
subscription to it.
I don't know if they have all 600 episodes, but they have at least the last like 200, if not more than that.
Yeah.
And then so many clips still exist on YouTube. Like,
yeah,
it's
KBS
around.
always cuts the show up, so you can't necessarily watch the full episode on YouTube, but you can for sure watch anybody's performance or interview. It'll just be all chopped up into different pieces. But if you have an artist that you really love and that you'd like to see, you know, how they went on Sketchbook, because I think everybody does a little something different when they went on, look them up. They probably were there.
Yeah. So that's the story of Yoo Huiyeol's Sketchbook, an important staple for Korean singers for 12 years, and like gone too soon. 13 years. Yeah. But I sincerely hope that it does get revived in whatever way it can. Like, I think it would be great if, you know, Yoo Huiyeol takes a break and like wants to come back to it and we can, you know, maintain it. Cause like I said, he seems like a very special host in the way that he gets people to open up and like, you know, the environment that he created with his show. But also there aren't any other shows that are so focused on singers getting to just be singers and perform without, like, Masked Singer is a great showcase of people's voices, but it's also a goofy competition show that involves a lot of panelists making jokes and people are wearing goofy masks the whole time. And like, it's a different thing. This is like a sincere singing program, and I would just hate for it to go away entirely.
Yeah, I mean, especially because like from the K-pop aspect of it, like, it's not a music show in the sense that it's also not a competition, right? Masked Singer is a competition, but Music Bank, Inkigayo, these are also competitions. And like, that is usually, that is for like promoting your comeback. And yes, a lot of the artists that like go on this Sketchbook are promoting something, and that's why that they come back. But like I said, they don't always just do a straight, like, they're not just, Stacey's not just going on there and doing run to you or
Right.
whatever, like they would on Music Bank. They're going to sit down and like do a cover. They're going to maybe do a different version of it. And like sometimes they do choreo on there and they'll do a full thing like that. Oh My Girls stage had like palm trees and
Versace
all
on the
kinds
floor
of shit.
as a dance. Like,
Yeah, Sistar did their choreo and stuff. So it totally depends in that sense, but it's just it was a very different showcase. And yeah, there is nothing else that's like that right now. So hopefully we will be seeing more of this show. But for now, we have 600 episodes to look back on and to be thankful for.
yeah. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about it and that you will check out some performances because they really are all so great. And we'll be right back with a random game. All right, we're back. And the random game blessed us with the easy assignment of Max Changmin from TVXQ, but the solo artist version of him.
Solo artist version, who goes by Max Changmin, birth name Shim Changmin, born February 18th, 1988. We talked all about him for hours and hours upon hours in our 2-part TVXQ deep dive, which came out just earlier this year. So he is a singer, a songwriter, and main vocalist for TVXQ. He's also been in a couple of dramas. He got married recently.
Yeah, he has a wife. He has 2
puppies.
dogs. He loves Legos.
He likes cooking. His best friend is Chemino. Yeah.
He grew his hair out this year. And
He's been wearing a lot of ponytails. It looks very good.
So good.
Very good. He made his solo debut in 2020. Really? Only in 2020?
Well, because
Chocolate came
the
out
last TVXQ album pre-military was solos from the both of them, but it
That's
was
true.
a
That's
TVXQ
true.
comeback. It didn't
Yeah.
count as a solo debut. So I
Right.
think Chocolate is his actual first by himself.
Well, I knew that was his debut. I just didn't realize it only came out in 2020.
Okay, yeah, sure.
That's why I was like, not 2018? No. Just 2 years ago.
It does look like he did debut in Japan in 2015, according to this list.
Yes.
But
he has
as
these
we
two-
discussed in the deep dives, TVXQ is very big in Japan.
Very big in Japan. So he has released 2 Japanese solo EPs. He made his Korean solo debut on April 6, 2020 with the EP Chocolate, lead single of the same name. And then he recently came back in January of this year with the EP Devil and the lead song of the same name.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing that Changmin ever did for us is that he is the lead character of the SM hologram musical Oz.
Yes, he is. School Oz.
And we saw him in hologram form, which I feel like is pretty close enough to seeing him in real form. It felt really real at the time.
It felt real. And when those holograms first walked on stage, we were like, wow, they really look like they're there. And let me tell you, that was a priceless experience.
It was. It really was.
Absolutely 10 out of 10.
But I love Changmin. I love how grumpy he is. I love how much he hates all things to do with modern, everything to do with being a modern K-pop idol. He hates fan service.
He hates
the internet.
He hates capitalism. He hates doing V Live.
He hates his fans because
He
they have
hates having to
physically
do
attacked
ending
him
fairy
before.
things. Yes, as we've discussed in several episodes, someone hit him with a pillowcase full of rocks. So I get why he's over it.
Yeah.
He loves to talk about the 4th Industrial Revolution. He's a real crank.
I love him so much.
And he's just a delight.
So we're going to watch his most recent music video, Devil, because it is the most popular at 13 million views. And I will just preface, because I don't know if I said this on the show, but when I learned this was a thing, I was like
so shocked.
So shocked that this song, exactly this song, was released by an American indie artist a couple of years ago. And they just rewrote Korean lyrics and did it. So it's, it's one of those SM Juliet deal with it kind of things where they just like bought an existing song.
And then
but like
wrote
it
new
shocked
lyrics.
me.
I was
me.
also shocked because when this came out, I was floored because it doesn't sound like a K-pop song at all. And I was like, wow, this is so different. And like, I've never, this is so different and new. And like, this is so not K-pop and not what I thought Changmin would do. Even though Chocolate was a pretty wild song too.
It sure is.
And then I was like, oh, because it's not a K-pop song. It's like an American gospel song. And
Yeah.
like, oh, right, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Blues,
but
I guess.
it's still good.
But
And
it's
he
still a
looks
good
real
song.
cool and fun in this music video. So if you would like to watch Max Changmin Devil with us, just pull it up and press play when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, spooky.
All right, so spooky forest with some hooting owls and a stag with glowing antlers. Ooh, title card.
Glowy eyes.
And then Changmin is just like in a pile of dancers in the middle of the forest.
오는 것에 시련에 막혀 그 일은 아이처럼
Oh, that feather fringe, whatever the hell. Ooh, look at it. And he always painted his nails for these stages. The outfits he wore were really,
So
really
good.
피할 수 없는 가시도 찐 길을 째
I'm watching too intently to say it.
I know. I love this song. I love the choreography. I really loved this music video. There's like two main sets. He wears all black and he's in the spooky forest, and then he's wearing all white with like a nice sweater and these like, I don't know, cargo pants or whatever. He and his backup dancers all match in the all white. And the all white set has an enormous mask in the background. It's like a desolate, like fantasy desert with like hazy sky. And there's a big mask of like a big, huge statue of somebody's face. And it's his face.
Ooh. And then we're in a typical TVXQ second gen big ol' empty room with a circle ceiling. I love it. And
But
this
part's
twisty stage.
Cool. The twisty stage is really cool, but this shadow choreo, oh, it's so good. And then he's
All
like,
those nails are long.
yeah, press-ons, baby.
So just let it rain.
And this like two-piece suit, like half of it is purple, half of it is black.
But yeah, he's like, in one set, he's on like a small circular stage that has like a bunch of cables like running up towards the ceiling. But then as it spins, the cables get twisted and like close him in a smaller cage.
It's very cool.
So drama the light.
Shining
Oh,
through
he
his
said Kwangya.
own eye. He did. He also loves to roll his eyes at Kwangya and said at one point that he has no idea what it is.
None of the older adults
None of
have
the
any
older ones
idea
do.
what Kwangya is.
I don't think anybody knows.
No. Oh, yes. It's all blowing up now. Oh, that's
Yes! I was just gonna say, he does a really, really good spin. He spins like 3 times. It's so good. There were a lot of fun reactions because he got a lot of different people from SM to watch the music video. And I think it was Yuno's where he was like, oh, that spin. Like, look at you. You're so good. And he was like, it's all in the shoes. Like, the shoes are just really slippery. Yuno was like, no, be proud of yourself.
You did it, bro.
The big face has shattered in the sky.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Spooky antlers,
And
glowy
he
eyes.
has the glowy antlers. Ooh. Oh la la. SM Entertainment.
Yay, that was great.
Yay! Oh, I love Max Changmin.
I love him too.
Highly recommend the other music video that he put out for that comeback, which was Maniac. The music video is cool and the song is phenomenal. That was such a good song. So yeah, that's one recommendation. Do you have another recommendation?
This isn't so much a recommendation as I would like to use my time and my platform to shout out excellent work that is just like really made my week. I just wanted to say, in case anybody knows them and can get this message to them because their DMs are closed, but the people that are doing the subtitles on Soshi TomTom right now are literally the heroes of my life. They're doing it under GGXV subs, and it seems to be like a team of a lot of people. But these subtitles are the kind of subtitles that were standard in K-pop subtitling when I got into K-pop, which means that every single bit of Hangul on the screen is translated in the same font and the same color as it is on the screen, tucked in right above so seamlessly. All of the background music is noted in the corner. If anybody makes a pun or does an idiom or references something, it is noted at the top. And like, it is so meticulous and it is so beautiful. And I literally got emotional over it when I was watching the first episode because I've been in a very like, take me back K-pop mood lately, like watching those old ice acts from like my early days in K-pop and having Girls' Generation back has just got to be like, too much time has passed. Like, please just take me back to the old days. But like the care that is going into this subtitling, like I love it so much. I think it's so great. And like, I just miss it. And like the episodes like take a long time and they say that on Twitter, like, sorry, but like, that's how it used to be, man. And like now when I was watching like the Queendom 2, like the subs were like wrong and mistimed and missing because everyone's like, I need it right now. And I just miss the days when it was like, no, we're going to take a minute and we're going to really like make this for you so that you can truly enjoy every piece of it. And like, it just warms my heart and it touches me so much. So I just wanted to like publicly thank them for all of their work. And I wish that I had a way to contact them and tell them. But they, like I said, they closed all their messages probably because people bother them. But thank you, GGXV subs, for your excellent work and making it so that I can enjoy Soshi TomTom, which is so fun and so good also on top of that. If you aren't watching it, it's just great, like old school fucking second gen variety, except everybody's older now. And I love it. I'm loving it so much. So I just wanted to use my recommendation time to say thank you for your service.
We salute you.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a perfect recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, I only have I didn't have something specific. I just wanted to reiterate, you know, if you have someone that you really like, just put their name plus You Huiyeol Sketchbook into YouTube and watch anything that pops up. If they've been on it, it'll be on the KBS website or on the YouTube channel. And it's all really good. It's all really good.
Just great stuff. Really good stuff all around. So yeah, check out some excellent singing, and thanks, You Huiyeol, for keeping it going as long as you could. And I'm sorry that it had to go down this way, bruh.
Yeah, sorry they had to do it to you. But thank you for 13 long years and 600 beautiful episodes.
Great. I love that. Well, that is it for today. And if you would like to get in contact with us, we can be found at AMA K-Pop Pod on Twitter and Instagram, amakpoppod@gmail.com for emails, 181 AMA K-Pop 5 for voicemails and texts. You guys have been totally coming through with voicemails and texts. Thank you.
Keep them coming.
Keep it coming.
That number alive.
So that Google will not come for me anymore. You can send us actual mail, P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California, 90026. Linktree/AMA K-Pop will take you to our Discord and our YouTube and our Spotify. And I think I fixed the Discord link had been expired for a little bit, thanks to whoever pointed that out to me. But I think I set it to never expire. So if you've been trying to get into the Discord, I think you can
be
now.
able to now.
And patreon.com/amakpoppod. You can support the show financially and give us a little bit of money, and we will reward you with tons of video episodes. There's a whole season of Queendom 2 audio recaps and so much more fun stuff coming all the time on Patreon, so you can join that. If you're listening to this episode the day that it comes out, and we'll be at 17 in LA, so will we. Love to say hey to you. And then KCON this weekend. I know because some of y'all have told us that like some of y'all will be there. So very excited to meet you and meet new listeners and see all the fun at KCON because it's been so long.
It's been so long. So keep an eye out for Two Girls with Pink Mics. That'll be us.
That'll be us. And yeah, we'll be back next week with our KCON recap, and then 17 will come after that. It's going to be a really long week for us. We'll have to stagger it a little bit, but we'll have it. And the 17 tour won't be over yet. So
it'll still be time.
That gives you some time, by the way. Like if you do go to any other, like all concert stops, if you go to any other 17 tour dates and want to send us an email or voicemail about your experience, we'd love to add it to that episode. So hit us up. And yeah, that's it. That's it for today. Thank you for your time and your love. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.